Hello, this is Paul Cramey of Serious Software. This is the beginning of a three-part video series on the topic of business closing. And this specific video is going to be an introduction and an overview. What we're going to cover in the three-part series is an overview and introduction, as I've mentioned. In the second video, we're going to talk about setup steps to customize the closing process to your preferences. And the third video will review the actual process steps themselves to initiate and complete a closing. In this video, we're essentially going to cover three questions related to the topic of closing. First of all, what is closing? What does it mean? Second question is, when is closing done? And the third and last question is, how do you go about closing, or how is it done? What is closing? Well, closing is the process of ending one period and beginning the next period. Now, the obvious question is, well, what is a period? Well, typically a period is related to a calendar day, a calendar week, calendar month, perhaps even the year. And then there are other periods that exist as well, such as the period between exporting of accounting data, the generation of royalty reports for franchise stores, and also the settlement of credit card terminals. The second question that we want to consider is, when should a close be done? Well, first of all, it's important to understand that a close is not necessarily related to the 24-hour clock. So in other words, it doesn't operate on a midnight to midnight basis. A close for a day, for example, can be initiated at any time that you choose to do so. Now, typical closes are a day, a week, a month, and a year. And then people often ask, well, how often should you close? Well, the best way to answer that is that at minimum, we strongly recommend that you close control at the end of any day where you have received payments from customers. That way, if you choose to export the financial data to an external accounting system, then the payments that are exported to the accounting system will match when the bank statement comes and you're trying to reconcile your bank statement within your accounting system. So again, the close should occur on a regular basis. Recommended that you think in terms of doing that on a day-to-day basis, a separate close at the end of a calendar month, and then lastly a close at the end of a calendar year. And at minimum, do a daily close whenever you have collected monies from a customer. The question that we're going to look at is, how is a closeout initiated? And the answer to that is that there are two basic approaches that can be used to start or conduct a closeout. The preferred method is using the quick reports function, which is specifically set up and geared to generating a series of related reports for a particular kind of close, and then actually completing the close itself. The second approach that can be used, which is less desirable, is through the regular reports menu. And there you can just actually do a close for a particular period, a day or a month or a year, but it does not automatically generate reports itself. The first look for a closeout that we're going to discuss is the most common and the preferred method. It involves the use of the quick reports function. We select the quick reports function, and it takes a few seconds for this to open. but it will bring up a group of called quick report groups that contain the various groupings of reports to carry out the different kinds of closes. And then also you'll find that there are some administrative reports that are not related to closing, but are intended as aids to you in managing the business. Now this is the report groups that I was alluding to that are predefined, and each of these contain a series of one or more reports and one or more of what we refer to as actions. Now specifically related to closing are the first four: begin close, close the day, close the month, and close the year. These are closeout related, and I'll come back and comment further on those in a second. The remaining 5 or 6, the employee estimates, sales analysis of different kinds, and workflow, these are simply groupings of good reports that will help you do a better job of managing things related to time clock usage for payroll, estimating and looking at your estimates, do a better job of working estimates and converting them to orders. And then a series of 3 that are sales related for managing accounts receivable, doing different kinds of analysis looking at distribution of your sales in different methods, and then finally the workflow. The second way that you can do a close is through the reports menu up here, and you can select reports and then financial reports and closeouts, and then choose closeouts, and you can choose either a close day, a close month, a close year, settle the credit card, close the export, or close the royalty reports. Now, these functions do exist, but I discourage folks from choosing them and doing their closes in that manner. I much prefer to see stores use the quick reports so that they can take advantage of getting batches of reports that are meaningful to different types of closes, be it a closed day or a closed month. And then likewise, those closeouts incorporate, if necessary, the settlement of the credit card terminal and the creation of an export file if you're going to export financial data to an accounting system. So yes, you can close, do a closeout from the reports menu, but it should be used very, very carefully and think primarily in terms of using the quick reports menu. One final comment on the printing of reports, and that is that once you choose the group that you want, the process then continues with choosing the print button over on the far right. And then when it comes up for all of the groups that are closeout related, the process should be to choose the print button, and then when the print dialog box comes up, you should select print. And that process will send all of the reports to the printer and initiate all the action steps. And if it's going to create an exportable file for a general ledger system, it will create and save that and then perform the other closeouts as required. Now for the non-closeout related reports, it's a similar process, except that with the employee and the estimate and all this analytical reports, you have the option of choosing the date range that you're interested in. So you can look at a particular period. You can look at the recommended period, which might be for the week or for the month or for the prior month, or you could look at a particular slice of time that you want. So after you've chosen the print button, the dialog box comes up for the management reports. You can choose the date range and then choose print. And then it will send all of those to the printer itself. Hello, this is a continuation of the first video to recap a few things. In this video we discussed an introduction and an overview of just exactly what is meant by a business closing. Now the next two videos are going to cover some setup steps to customize the process to your preferences. And the third video, the last video, will be the actual process steps themselves to carry out and complete a business closing.